Did we give him a big boss salute or what?
Come here.
Oh god, this. Oh my god.
You need to hide, Dante. No matter what happens, you mustn't leave. I
Oh.
need to find Virgil. I promise I'll be back. I know this is hard. You must listen to me. Be a big boy. A man, huh? If I don't return, you must run. By yourself, alone. You must change your name. Forget your past and start a new life. As someone else. A new beginning. Virgil! Where are you, Virgil?
Well, that would explain Virgil's... I'll say it after the cutscene, but 100% he was saying Virgil. There's like no chance in hell. Before we start, you could definitely see, you know, Dante's got like obviously trauma, but then you've also got Virgil. If you remember his main line that he tells Dante in Devil May Cry 3, if you watched it / played it, he tells him, he's always asking him why doesn't he want to gain more power, and then Dante's like, oh, I don't have a dad, and Virgil's like, you're foolish. You know, might controls everything, and without strength, you can't protect anyone, not even yourself. Obviously, it's referring to Mami because Dante doesn't know where Virgil is. We didn't know where Virgil was at that time. He was lost. You know, he went missing after Mundus sent, you know, his henchmen to attack Dante's mother and Dante and Virgil. So I've got a sneaking suspicion that Virgil was in the room where his mother died, and that trauma of being helpless to protect his mother, you know, to save his mother, pretty much for the rest of his life set him up to be power hungry. Now, at the same time, you've got Sparda that was, you know, pretty much a legendary demon. He was, from my understanding, the most powerful, and, you know, when he created Dante and Virgil, who are his sons, they pretty much inherited, you know, I wouldn't say his soul, but his, you know, his spirit, his likeness at the very least. And as we know, Sparda's color is purple, and purple is a very royal color. It's a powerful color. You see it very rarely used, but, you know, it's usually associated with royalty. And what you've got is Dante being red being passionate, and you've got blue being calm and in control. And when you mix red and blue, you get purple. So obviously, Sparda possessed both these qualities. He was, you know, in the words of a lot of demons, a handsome young devil, but he was also very passionate, very powerful. You know, you can sort of get an image of this man that, you know, is very complex and very sort of complete. And then you've got his sons, Dante, who is the passionate one, and then you've got Virgil, the one that's in control. And obviously this trauma, along with, you know, the demon blood they inherited from their father, impacted them. And so what you get is two very big extremes. You've got Dante that's all about passion, music, rock and roll, doesn't give a crap. And then you've got Virgil that's only seeking more power his entire life. It's all about power. There couldn't be a bigger polar opposite there. And that's the thing I love about these characters. They're not just like copy and paste, oh, they're twin brothers that hate each other. They're well developed in their own way. And they're not only adding to the story in terms of, okay, it's a sequel, here's what happens next. They're actually tying it in with what happened before. And that's what I really love about Devil May Cry. Devil May Cry 3 was a prequel, and in my opinion was the best one so far. I haven't finished 5, so I can't, you know, rule it out. But it's the best so far because you get all this character development for both characters. You see where they're coming from. You see their struggle. It really shows who Dante is, but at the same time, it also showed who Virgil is. And he became a quick fan favorite because of this. You could see that there's a lot of love for both characters. A lot of people love Dante, and a lot of people love Virgil. Nero gets, you know, love too, but he's still young, you know, he's still a little bit of a green grasshopper that's still learning the ropes, you know, and that's kind of, when you play Devil May Cry 4, Dante sort of took him under his wing in his own sort of way. Dante's got a very interesting sort of style of, okay, he'll, you know, test you out a little bit. They had a little bit of a little bit of fun fighting. And then when Nero showed that You know, he could hold his own, and he was he wasn't as strong as Dante, but Dante could see the potential. He could see that, you know, this kid isn't just another demon. He's obviously someone, and the fact that Yamato, or Yamato, or however you want to pronounce it, Virgil's katana, which, you know, was a devil arm forged by Sparta, resonated with Nero. He, you know, like, put two and two together, you could see that there's Virgil's blood in Nero, so which is why he entrusted the sword with him, because, well, you know, A, you're his uncle, B, you know what I mean? There's a little bit of that in there. So that's what I really love about this series. These characters aren't just, you know, two-dimensional. They're actually developed in the story. And there's someone for everyone. Everyone's got their own style. I was, truth be told, never the biggest fan of Dante, just because I thought he was reckless, and I thought that his priorities weren't, you know, straight, even when I was younger. And then Virgil comes along, and I'm like, holy shit, you know, I always loved this sort of anti-hero person. You're pretty much thinking of, say, Vegeta from Dragon Ball Z. That's the sort of character archetype that I really like, which is why I sort of resonated a lot more with Virgil than I did with Dante. But you could see the hype, you know, in this game. And as soon as you saw the blue demon in one of the first trailers, everyone was like, that's Virgil. You see the arm being taken off Nero. Who would be the only demon that cares about that? Virgil. And then in the final trailer, just before the game is released, they pretty much, everyone says, oh, it's a spoiler. They show you, it's not. It's the icing on the cake. We know it's him, but we have to go through this entire story to get to that. And that's where the hype comes from. It's that whole thing of, if you know the ending to, say, a book, you're going to read it from the beginning, paying as much attention as possible to see if you could pick up what's going on. It's, for example, Game of Thrones, right? I got spoiled about the Red Wedding, and that entire episode, I was like this going, is that it? 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 You know what I mean? You're paying so much attention because you know what's going to happen. But in this case, it's the point, right? You know who it is. But they're just teasing you with it. Throughout the whole game, we're being teased by demons from Devil May Cry 1. We're being teased with demons from Devil May Cry 3. We're being teased with demons from Devil May Cry 4. And that's done purposely. You know, the bats, that's the boss in Devil May Cry 3. You fight her in the theater. Where did we fight those Nilo Angelo prototypes? In the theater. What did we have when we were descending to that theater? Bats. Obviously, you saw me. I assumed, oh my god, it's going to be her. But it wasn't. Like, that is... It's there for... You could... There's so much love into this game, and it's the little things in this game that make it worth playing. And I'm obviously not picking them all up, but there's so many of them that you could see the love and the hard work that went into this game. This wasn't done, you know, quickly. This was polished. This is very polished. And of course, there's going to be issues. There's going to be some gameplay mechanic glitches every now and then. But you could see the effort. And that's what I love about this franchise. And that is what I love about Capcom. They actually care. Look what they did with Resident Evil. They made it amazing. And this is basically was supposed to be the first version of Resident Evil 4 that was made into its own franchise because it had potential. And that's what I like. The detail and the love that goes into this game is just next level. So sorry, I don't want to rant on too much. I just wanted to share what was going through my head when I saw that little cutscene. But yeah, that's basically the mindset of Dante and Virgil. And I know a lot of people are going to say that Virgil's a, you know, two-dimensional prick that's just power hungry. You got to think of it from his point of view. That's why he has attachment issues. You could see the first time he meets Nero in the boss fight, he's like, you're going to regret, you know, I can't quote the whole thing, I can't remember it. You're going to regret being, or you're going to wish you were never born human and weak. Think about it. He's not attacking Nero for being human. He's attacking himself. He's projecting his own self-loathing. He hates the fact that he's partially human. He on some level probably thinks that if he was a full demon, he would have been able to save his mother. Because his mother was human. She didn't stand a chance against powerful demons sent out to kill her. Sparta, who was his father figure, was the most powerful demon. So obviously, he associates humans with weakness. He associates demons with power. I mean, especially as a young kid, watching your mother being brutally murdered in front of you. Like, think about this. And that leaves an impact. That leaves trauma. And that's where that's coming from. So that hatred for humans and, obviously not getting Father of the Year, that's where that comes from. It's that trauma. It wasn't voluntary on his part, out of greed to get power. It's something that's programmed into him from a very young age. Because if you watch and, listen to Devil May Cry 1 and what we've seen so far, he used to, Virgil and Dante used to play together. Of course, they had the whole brother rivalry, but I remember in Devil May Cry 1, after you defeat Virgil for the final time, you had the little memory flashback of them arguing about who's getting the chocolate on the cake, right? Present-day Virgil wouldn't give a flying fuck about cake. But little Virgil, before everything happened, he was a little kid. You could see that innocence. You could see that playfulness, right? Of course, he had little fights with his brother, but which two brothers don't have squabbles? But at the end of the day, they still love each other. They're still brothers. But as soon as that happened, Virgil went 180. He disregarded that completely and just went, he became hell-bent on getting more power. Like, that is his character, and that is his motivation in the series. And that's why it's awesome. He's well thought out. It's not rushed at all. So whoever thinks that, these characters are two-dimensional or their stories don't make sense, you obviously haven't played enough, or you haven't thought about it enough, because it's all there. And of course, this is my interpretation. Something else could happen in the game where, my assumption that Virgil watched his mother die isn't correct. He could have been in another room, or it could have been, we don't know yet. But, going from that, it only makes sense that trauma in his childhood defined who he became as an adult. And you need to realize that at such a young age, having such a traumatic experience and having no one to guide you has impacts. He didn't have his mother. He didn't have his father. He lost his brother. He's young. He's scared. What do you think would happen? He was forced to grow up very quickly, and this is what you get. He becomes He becomes motivated. So it just clicks. It makes sense. And don't worry, I will make this as a little separate clip. I didn't expect it to go this long. This is just me sharing the thought process that went through my mind where I saw that. That's why in the final trailer, where that clip actually played, I lost my shit, because that's such a defining moment in the franchise, but we've only ever heard about it. It's only ever briefly mentioned. A mother and a brother lost to evil 20 years ago. Your mother was this. This whole game is one for the fans. It's basically what fans have been wanting and asking for since Devil May Cry 4, and ever since they did that reboot. This is what they wanted, and this is what we got. And I'm grateful beyond... I can't express how happy and grateful I am to finally be able to play. I haven't even played the reboot because I didn't want to... I understand it's an alternate universe, but... this is how I view Dante and Virgil. I don't really want to corrupt that with a reimagining of who they are, Like, this is who they are to me in the purest form. Why would I want to, you know what I mean? So, yeah. Yeah. You're impressed how much thought I put into topics? I do think a lot, but, that's sort of... that's a sort of byproduct of my own childhood, because I didn't actually really have much of a childhood. And the childhood I did have was mostly spent by myself. So all I really had was me, myself, and I. So obviously I went to things like video games. Example A. And, playing with toys and things like that. So I was very extroverted as a child, and I became deeply introverted because, I was alone for so long, and then... school wasn't exactly fun, so that sort of left its mark. But, yeah. So that's why I love video games so much. That's why they mean so much to me, and that's why I enjoy them as much as I do. To me, video games are an unbelievable medium that expresses things that we otherwise wouldn't be able to. Books are great. They make you think. expands your thought process, expands your horizons. Movies are great because you can just chill, relax, and watch. But video games are something else, the next level, because they're interactive and they feel like an experience rather than making you feel like a passenger. You feel like you're there. You know, not in the literal sense that I'm there fighting demons, but you know, you play it, you think about it, like you're part of the story.
What? No chit-chat or monologue? Just getting right to the point, huh?
My brilliant badass work is worth every dime, you know it.